सभापति जी,
Question hour, question 211. Question.
सर
आपका है ना?
ठीक है, ठीक.
चलिए ना मंत्री जी। मंत्री कहाँ है?
Supplementaries.
नहीं, मंत्री पहले।
Thank you.
मंत्री जी, वैसे तो मेरे द्वारा पूछे गए प्रश्नों का आपने बहुत ही विस्तार से उत्तर दिया।
अरे
आपका यह प्रयास सराहनीय। फिर भी मैं कुछ क्लेरिफिकेशन चाहूंगा।
हाँ।
आपने कई प्रश्न का उत्तर देते हुए बताया कि राष्ट्रीय खेल प्रतिभा खोज स्कीम के अंतर्गत ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों समेत 8 से 12 वर्ष की आयु के विद्यार्थियों में से 2008-09 से लेकर 2013-14 तक 1.64 करोड़ प्रतिभाशाली खिलाड़ियों की पहचान की गई और इन्होंने पाइका की वार्षिक राष्ट्रीय खेल प्रतियोगिताओं में भाग लिया। मैं मंत्री महोदय से जानना चाहूंगा कि जिन प्रतिभाशाली खिलाड़ियों की पहचान की गई, विशेष रूप से जो ग्रामीण अंचल से संबंध रखते हैं, उनको और अन्य सरकार की तरफ से अन्य सुविधाएं देने के लिए सरकार क्या कर रही है?
Respected Chairman, sir, Honorable Member of Parliament has brought a very nice question to the House today, and as the people of the country, especially the sports lover, they always want sports infrastructure to be built up throughout the country, particularly in the rural areas. And also we have got enormous talent in the countryside, particularly in the rural areas. If those talents are to be detected, then we must move with a system. And that system is newly introduced with a scheme called National Sports Talent Search Scheme. From the next financial year, we are going to implement this scheme, and according to this scheme, so there will be a battery of tests among the student age group between 8 to 12, and that they will have to undergo some battery of tests. 6 battery of tests will be conducted at the school level, block level and district level, and whoever will be identified, they will be trained in the district sports school, state sports school and national sports school. So they will be the future of India, and they will be groomed, they will be trained, they will be given all best possible support so that they can play at the national and international level of competition.
thank you. Second question.
सेकंड क्वेश्चन मेरा ओलंपिक खेलों से के संबंध में है। हमारा देश 1900 से ओलंपिक खेलों में भाग ले रहा है। 125 करोड़ की आबादी वाला भारत अभी 2012 तक 9 गोल्ड मेडल ही जीत सका है, और वो भी 9 गोल्ड मेडल में से 8 जो गोल्ड मेडल आए हैं वो हॉकी में आए हैं, और 1980 के बाद तो हमारी हॉकी खेल में भी कोई मेडल नहीं आ रहा है। तो ये चिंता का विषय है। सरकार इसके बारे में क्या योजना बना रही है ताकि आने वाले ओलंपिक खेलों में हॉकी का प्रदर्शन अच्छा रहे?
Yes, hockey is the most popular sports in the country. Everybody wants hockey to grow, and everybody has a dream that hockey will bring gold medal from Olympic podium. So with this objective, Chairman sir, we are also trying to give in the best possible manner to support Hockey India, so that like the players can be trained at all levels. Both men and women hockey has been given full facilities so that they can have the national and international event, also the foreign exposures, and even the course and the scientific backup has also been given, and all the financial support has also been given to the Hockey India. So for your information, Indian hockey team have already qualified for the Rio Olympic. Now our next target is to bring medal, and since 1980s Moscow Olympic, we have not been able to win any medal at the international level of hockey competition. That's why Olympic. So that's why our government is committed to give best possible support to Hockey India so that they can play well and bring medal to the country.
Thank you, Shri Dilip Turke.
सर इंडियन स्पोर्ट्स में जो ओलंपिक स्पोर्ट्स हैं, ओलंपिक स्पोर्ट्स में सिर्फ इंडोर स्पोर्ट्स में मेडल आ रहे हैं, जैसे बॉक्सिंग, बैडमिंटन। सर, इंडियन स्पोर्ट्स में जो ओलंपिक स्पोर्ट्स हैं, ओलंपिक स्पोर्ट्स में सिर्फ इंडोर स्पोर्ट्स में मेडल आ रहे हैं, जैसे बॉक्सिंग, बैडमिंटन और हमारे शूटिंग, रेसलिंग, सिर्फ इसी में ओलंपिक मेडल आ रहे हैं। जो आउटडोर स्पोर्ट्स हुआ, हॉकी हुआ, हाँ हॉकी में एशियन गेम एशियन लेवल बेटर कर रहे हैं, लेकिन वर्ल्ड लेवल में उस तरीके से हम कर नहीं पा रहे हैं। हॉकी हुआ, एथलेटिक्स हुआ, फुटबॉल हुआ, इसमें मेडल ले नहीं पा रहे हैं। सर, उसका एक ही कारण बताया जा रहा है, फिटनेस। जो फिटनेस कमज़ोर होने की वजह से हम लोग आउटडोर गेम में बेटर कर नहीं पा रहे हैं। सर, मैं हमारे आदरणीय मंत्री से मैं जानना चाहूँगा, जो फिटनेस को मजबूत करने के लिए क्या हम पूल एरिया, ये भी सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है, जो एनवायरनमेंट, जो हमारे इंडिया में 7-8 महीना गर्मी का मौसम रहता है, तो गर्मी में भी स्पोर्ट डेवलप हो नहीं पाती, जो कि आउटडोर स्पोर्ट्स वही करते हैं। सो मैं जानना चाहूँगा कि फिटनेस लेवल डेवलप करने के लिए क्या कूल एरिया को हम फोकस करेंगे, वहाँ पर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बढ़ाने की कोशिश करेंगे, और साथ ही साथ जो फिटनेस को मजबूत करने के लिए जो फिटनेस कोच होते हैं, इसलिए फिटनेस ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूट बनाने की कोशिश करेंगे।
Thank you.
Yeah, so respected Chairman sir, the honorable member has rightly brought this question to the House. It is relevant to the present, context of our modern sports, particularly sports science and medicine has become the integral part of the sporting exercise. So, Government of India now has decided to start sports science course in some numbers of universities. At the same time, also in the some number of medical colleges to start the sports medicine course, so that in the near future, whatever scientific backup is required for our athletes to develop their powers, physical powers, their endurance, and also the others requirement that can be met. Thank you.
Shri Vijay Goel.
सर, हमारे देश में खेल तब तक आगे नहीं बढ़ सकते जब तक खेल मंत्रालय इस तरह की योजना नहीं लेके आएगा कि स्पोर्ट्स को एजुकेशन के करिकुलम का पार्ट बनाया जाए, स्पोर्ट्स को कंपलसरी किया जाए स्कूलों के अंदर। और मैं खुद स्टेट लेवल का खिलाड़ी रहा हूं, मैं खिलाड़ियों की समस्याओं को जानता हूं। मैं मंत्री जी से पूछना चाहता हूं कि आपने जो अब तो दूसरे खेल के अंदर है यहाँ पे।
Continue, please.
सर, मैं बास्केटबॉल और खो खो सर।
Please continue.
सर,
with the
मैं
question.
मंत्री जी से पूछना चाहता हूं कि आपने जिस राजीव गांधी खेल अभियान की जिक्र किया है, जिसका पहले नाम पंचायत युवा क्रीड़ा और खेल अभियान था, ये राजीव गांधी खेल अभियान की क्या प्रोग्रेस है, जिसको ब्लॉक टू ब्लॉक जाना था?
Thank you.
Respected Chairman sir, this PICA scheme was replaced by Rajiv Gandhi Khel Abhiyan in the February 2014. And according to this scheme, the main target was to develop sports complex at the block level. We have more than 7,000 numbers of block in the country. Now, if this scheme is to be implemented, then it is to be conversed with 4 others like Department, Rural Development, Ministry of Panchayat, Ministry of Donor and Planning Commission. Because this scheme is to be implemented in convergence with 4 other departments. So that is the original idea. So accordingly, we are targeting to develop a sports complex in all the blocks of the countries in the next 5 years, phase-wise. And in this particular aspect, we need the support from all the honorable member of parliament, because it is a question of involvement. And particularly the district DM and also the chief secretaries and the sports commissioner of the state, and honorable chief ministers of the state, if they become very much cooperative in this regard, then definitely state and center, and with the support of the people and also the honorable member of parliament, this scheme can be implemented. So in this regard, we firmly believe the center and state will have to go hand in hand. And particularly in this aspect, the respective state government will have to identify the suitable plot of land in every block, because the government of India can supplement the effort taken by the respective state government. Thank you.
सर
Shri
मणिपुर
Praful Patel.
स्पोर्ट्स यूनिवर्सिटी का आपने आश्वासन दिया हुआ है, उसके बारे में भी जरा जवाब सुनने दीजिए। वहाँ के लोग बड़ा
देखिए,
उपेक्षित
आपका
महसूस
सवाल
करते
नहीं
हैं।
है।
सर दे दो आप जवाब, दे दो चूंकि ऑनरेबल मेंबर ने
Respected Chairman, sir, so regarding his question,
यस
Please take
Sir,
the
जवाब
question.
दे रहे हैं ना।
Listen
आप
to the
बड़ा
question.
क्यों
No, no, your supplementary cannot be allowed. Let the supplementary be asked.
Mr. Chairman, sir, I disclose my interest first as being the president of the All India Football Federation. I am saying I am disclosing my interest that I am the president of the All India Football Federation,
Okay.
and I appreciate the initiative of the National Sports Talent Search Scheme. It's a good initiative. But sir, I must humbly submit, करनी और कतनी में बहुत फर्क होता है. It's a laudable scheme, but very difficult to implement. Honorable Minister knows that we are hosting the World Cup Under 17, especially to promote talent in the youth for football. And first time a FIFA tournament is being given to India, and that is why I am happy also that the government is also supporting us in the right direction. But having said so, sir, to find the talent, what the basic question that has been raised, the minister has said that we will have these camps and we will have these centers all across the country. In the absence of the close cooperation of the National Sports Federation, whether it's football, hockey or any other game, the Sports Federation has to be involved in this process, because we have units in every state. हर राज्य का अपना संघ होता है. उस संघ के साथ अगर आपने मिलकर अपनी एफर्ट्स को साथ में शामिल किया, तभी आपको सही टैलेंट मिलेगा.
Thank you.
और दूसरा सर ना, मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट सर,
One question.
even no, it's part of it, sir. Please let me elaborate. The money is involved, sir. इंडिया इतना बड़ा देश है, हमारे इतने बड़े देश में अगर हम जो पैसे का प्रावधान करते हैं, वो इतने बड़े देश में जब हम हिस्से में देते हैं तो इतना छोटे छोटे टुकड़ों में वो जाता है कि उसके वजह से इतने महत्वपूर्ण खेल को आज अगर फुटबॉल या हॉकी की जो इन्होंने बात की, इतने पॉपुलर खेल हैं जो पूरे गांव में, हर गांव में खेला जाता है. जबलपुर में आपको याद है कितने बड़े टूर्नामेंट होते थे हर जगह पर, लेकिन वो आज क्यों समाप्त हो रहे हैं? क्योंकि जो पैसा हिस्से में आता है वो इतना कम आता है. क्रिकेट के हमारे शरद जी, हमारे नेता यहाँ पर बैठे हैं, उनको मालूम है क्रिकेट की बात अलग है, लेकिन बाकी सभी खेलों को आज जो पैसा जो मिलता है वो इतना कम मिलता है कि उसके लिए कुछ ना कुछ आप जरूर प्रावधान कीजिए.
Thank you.
और स्पोर्ट्स फेडरेशन को इस स्कीम में आप शामिल जब तक नहीं करेंगे,
Thank
तब
you.
तक ये कार्यान्वित
Thank
सही
you.
तरह से नहीं हो पाएगी.
Respected Chairman, sir, one of the honorable member has raised the question regarding the present status of Manipur Sports University.
No, no. Please
So,
don't do
like,
that. Please don't do that.
this is a very important.
हिंदुस्तान
No, no.
में है क्या?
It-
Is Manipur not in India?
This is a very important
Just
issue.
1 minute, please. No, no. Please, 1 minute. Please. Please, one minute, please. Honorable
Yes.
members,
Sir,
supplementaries are asked by a process.
I see.
Let there be no interjections in it, because then
Sir, you have
you are
allowed many
impinging
times.
on somebody else's right. Please continue.
Sir, you have allowed many times.
No, I have not allowed you today. That should end the matter.
Respected Chairman, sir, as raised by Honorable Member Parliament Praful Patel ji regarding the involvement of National Sports Federation and Indian Olympic Association in this particular scheme, selecting the talent in the school level for future game of India. So in this regard, I also support his suggestion, and in the near future, definitely NSF will be a part of our journey.
Thank you. Question number 212.
Yes, sir.
मैं देख रहा हूं आपको 24 या 26 पेज का जवाब मिला है। जहां तक मुझे याद है इतना लंबा जवाब किसी सवाल का नहीं मिला है हाउस में। प्लीज 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 क्वेश्चन 212 श्री पंकज वोरा। यस, ऑल राइट, लेट द आंसर बी गिवन।
Thank you, sir. Now, my question was for the tea industry in Assam. As you know that 1.5 century back, the colonial British brought the tea garden laborers from nearby states. And they were being put in isolation socially, etc. And they were very poor. Now today also, the take-home pay of a tea garden labor is hardly 70 rupees a day. The most unskilled labor that the pay is very less and all that. But the answers given by the Honorable Minister, there is nothing in the answer as if the central government has done nothing to do with this. Only the state government and the labor unions are the people who will manage these ways of these people, I mean the tea garden laborers. So my question is, first question to you is, sir, is whether will you think about setting up a committee to review the wage structure of the tea garden workers and to maintain an equal wage structure throughout the country, because the wage structure varies from state to state.
Thank you.
Will you form that country?
Thank you.
This minimum wage act, mostly we advise the state governments to have a minimum wage at the state level. At the national level, now though the trade union and other people, they are demanding minimum wage, but there is no consensus regarding the state governments and others. That's why now still that consultations are processed. At the national level, at minimum wage is very difficult now, because the side of the employers and also by the side of the trade unions, the variation is much more is there. That's why, but consultations are going on. At present, it is there is no national level minimum wage, and also in the act also. In the act also, there is no such definition of the minimum wage act, and also in the act, there is no such norms are also there. So that's why mostly the parties are the part of the state governments.
Thank you. Second question.
Sir, the reply of the minister clearly stated what the renowned author Mulak Razanan long back said about 2 leaves and a bud, that their tea garden laborers are exploited, and said we have now no mechanism. Now, may I ask the Honorable Minister, there is a Plantation Labour Act, and the team management always violate that act. When I was the education minister in the state, I had to fight with the team management for going for the Sarva Shiksha, because they are following the Plantation Labour Act and not the Government Act of Legislation and State Statutory Act. Now, the Honorable Minister has stated that a proposal has been received from Ministry of Commerce and Industry for amendment of the Plantation Labour Act, which is under examination. Will you kindly give us a time frame when you are going to amend the Plantation Labour Act of 1951?
So already the proposal has come from the Ministry of Commerce, number one. Number two is, under this proposal, the wages, particularly members' concern is also very serious. About the wages, the cash component, he has also mentioned that regarding the Assam, the wage component is in Brahmaputra Valley 89, and cash component altogether comes that is food grains, dry tea, firewood, all this comes to 20 to 40. That's why I have given the answer that 111 rupees 0.40 is the wage of this wage and also this kind. So that's why this proposal meant for the amendment of the proposal, that is the wages also should be above the minimum wage, and the proposal is above the minimum wage, not even the minimum wage. Number two, even for the other facilities like housing, medical, insurance, drinking water, education, all these things are under this examination by the different ministries, and also the consultations are on. The interministerial group also that is formed, and we are taking up all the different views, and we will be, the process also we will be completed soon.
Thank you. Shri Yachuri. No, that's all. You've had your 2 questions, please. Shri Yachuri.
Thank you, sir. Sir, my supplementary deals with the second part of the question that the Honorable Minister has answered. And this says that there is no such central act called the Tea Labour Act. I am quoting from the answer, sir. However, there is a Plantation Labour Act, etc., etc. There is no proposal to amend the Plantation Labour Act, but a proposal to amend has been received by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Sir, my question pertains to the fact that there has been a long-standing demand of the tea garden workers that there should be a central act for protecting them. And at the moment, they are subjected to a lot of lack of protections. Unfortunately, in the state of West Bengal and in other parts, tea plantation workers have joined the sections of Indian peasantry in committing distress suicides. Now, this has been a demand that has been going on for decades. Will the government and particularly your ministry consider the enactment of a central act for emoluments and protection of the rights of the tea garden workers? Yes, it comes under the state government, the Minimum Wages Act of the state government will be there, but we have had instances where the minimum wage prescribed by the central government will have to be adhered to by all the tea garden plantation owners. The Plantation Workers Act essentially deals with the facilities for the owners of the plantation. The tea gardens, they have a long legacy. They have mostly been under the British rule, and the long legacy of the earlier method of functioning also has to be changed and converted into modern industrial practices. So I would urge, sir, through you, the Labour Department and to the Ministry to seriously consider the possibility of enacting a central tea plantation workers wages act, which has to be adhered by all the states as the minimum wages that should be provided to them.
Thank you.
Sir, Honorable Senior Member Sri Sitaram Yechuri ji knows well, because there are, under Section 28 of this Minimum Wage Act, the central government can only give directions to the state government, because the state government of the implementation authority is the state government. That's why at the national level it is very difficult. And other part of the question is the protection. I will come to.
Please.
Let the country know.
Let the answer be completed.
Which state governments?
Yachuri ji.
I will come to. Because already as I mentioned, regarding this proposal of the amendment, which has come from the Ministry of Commerce, because we are already the proposal, we have received the comments from the Ministry of Rural Development. We have received the views from the Ministry of Panchayat Raj on 16/12. And 16th January, we have received views of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And we have also received the views of the West Bengal government 19th February. And I also received the views of the Assam government 26th February. And also, 5th March, meeting held with the Ministry of Northeast Region Development. So that's why we are very much eager, and also, but Honorable Member, and there is already a Plantation Labour Act, and amendments are, as I have proposed amendments are there under the examination, and as soon as it all received well, then we will come with the protection to the workers also.
Thank you. Shri Bandyopadhyay.
Wages are fixed through bipartite or tripartite agreement for a specific period of time. During that period, wages do not vary, but the prices continue to rise. Therefore, sir, I want to know from the Honourable Minister, does the tea garden workers' wages have an element of variable dearness allowance to cover the rise in consumer prices during that fixed period?
Sir, this variation of dearness allowance and other pricing, all these things will be considered by the state government. While fixing the minimum wage, all these things will be considered by the state governments. And also, because why is about this wages and all these things, ultimately the decision has to be taken at the state level and implementing also the state level. That's why the difference is there. Even in the our Assam, there is a difference. See, in the Brahmaputra Valley, that is, wage component is 89 rupees. And whereas in Barak Valley, 72 rupees. And also, if that kind other thing that I already mentioned. But another important, this is in West Bengal. In the West Bengal, that cash component is 95 rupees. And if it comes to the Tamil Nadu, then it goes to 209 rupees, sir. And also in the Kerala, it goes to 216. So these are the variations. And that also the part I am telling you. See, always the consultations with the state governments always will be with the ministry at our level.
Thank you, Shri Ramdas Atwale.
देखिए महोदय, मैं आपके माध्यम से इतना ही पूछना चाहता हूं कि महंगाई इतनी बढ़ गई है और चाय का उद्योग असम में और दूसरे राज्यों में भी चलता है। ये आपने बताया है कि मतलब एक साल में खाली 11 रुपये बढ़ाने का काम कर रहे हैं, लेकिन महंगाई बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ रही है। मंत्री महोदय ने उत्तर में बताया कि चाय श्रम अधिनियम नामक कोई केंद्रीय अधिनियम नहीं है, और ऐसा अधिनियम बनाने के बारे में आपको निर्णय लेने का अधिकार है। तो इसी तरह मतलब ऐसा अधिनियम बनाकर जो 330 रुपए की मांग किया है पर डे, तो 330 रुपए उनको पर डे मिलना चाहिए, उसके लिए आपने निर्णय लेना चाहिए।
थैंक यू। तो आप कह चुके हैं।
Already replied.
Thank you. Question 213. Thank you. Yes.
I thought she has already given. I thought that she has already given. Anyway, sir, West Bengal, with this infrastructure, some of the new industries are ready to come. But I got the information that some of the industries, they did not get the proper land. I also got this information. The bank is not functioning properly to provide them with the financial assistance. Now my question before the Honorable Minister, how the government of India can help all these industries so that they can set up it? Because the government of India is saying that they are very keen to set up the new industry, particularly manufacturing industry.
Thank you.
So as stated in the answer, first thing I wish to clarify that the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion does not have any assistance scheme for establishing new industries. However, it is only programs such as the Integrated Leather Development Program or the Modified Industrial Infrastructure Upgradation Scheme, through which some financial assistance is provided for creating common infrastructure. And particularly when you're talking about ILDP-like schemes, it helps the backward classes and the downtrodden. So, in those aspects, we do provide assistance only for creation of common infrastructure and so on. So, as regards the particular question on West Bengal, I would like to state that under the ILDP, the Integrated Leather Development Program, 437.51 lakhs and 400.52 lakhs, two different amounts, were given in April 2012 and in March 2014. But under the MIIUS, the Modified Infrastructural Upgradation Scheme, no proposal conforming to the guidelines was received from West Bengal during those 2 years.
Second question.
I know some of the industries, all of these PSU industries, like the Tire Corporation of India, ACL, Bangaloris, and all these industries are now sick. It needs the protection from the central government. I'd like to know from the Honorable Minister whether they are thinking something about this matter and to set up some machinery so that they can provide with some financial assistance and other technical know-hows.
So specifically as regards the issues of land and related problems, the State Industrial Development Corporation is the best body to deal with it. If there is any technical hand-holding which has to be done, the department can always do it. But as regards banks and banks financing issues, that should be taken up with the state-level bankers committee, and they probably would be best enable the process to be smoothened out. But as regards the center and any financial assistance, it has to certainly be proposed by the state governments. Yes, new private infrastructure related investment programs under the ILDP, Integrated Leather Development Program, can be undertaken, provided of course compliance as per the state government's NOC or construction, and also creation of new infrastructure and plant machinery should be taken up by the state government, and we are willing to take it up after the state gives the NOC.
Thank you, Shri Derek O'Brien.
The minister has quite correctly pointed out in her answer that the scope of within the scope of the question, it is only DIPP and ILDP, which are small amounts of money or comparatively small amounts of money. Sir, I have a specific question, but for which I have to give you three little statistics. So the first one, sir, the growth in the service sector in Bengal has been 6.9% compared to the national average of 7.9%. The industrial growth, the national average year on year, has been 1% nationally. Bengal has been in the last year a growth of 9%, and the GDP to GSDP growth on the national has been about 7+%, and the GSDP at the state level has been about 10%.
What's the question?
The question is, will the minister consider using this model, which has worked very well, to shore up the numbers in states which have been a similar situation like this, which have had a lot of debt stress, etc. Under these conditions, this model has worked well. My question is, will the minister consider using this model in a few other states?
Regards West Bengal, if there are any such experiments or pilot projects which, based on the model that the honourable member has highlighted, any kind of proposal which is coming up from the state, we are quite happy to sit with them and work out, because we are certainly interested in having a better industrial progress in West Bengal too. So the state is quite welcome.
Thank you. Shri Rita Pratap Banerjee.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. The minister in a statement has Thank you, sir. The minister in his answer had categorically said that under the Modified Industrial Infrastructure Upgradation Scheme, no proposal conforming to the guidelines was received from West Bengal during the last 2 years. In the last few years, we have been hearing in our state that industries have engulfed the entire state. I just want to know categorically from the minister, when was the last proposal under this MIIUS scheme was received from the West Bengal government? I want the details.
I'm not sure about the specific details, but under the MIIUS scheme, just one project proposal was received from West Bengal related to industrial clusters of chemical park in Howrah. However, that has not been entertained because it was submitted by an SPV, a special provision vehicle, without a state implementing agency, which is a requirement by the rules of this scheme. And again, that was for Howrah district. And Howrah is certainly not a backward area, and therefore the ministry could not entertain that application. That's the last, but that was rejected.
Thank you. Question 214. Questioner not present, let the answer be given. Srimati Shelja, have you asked a supplement?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Sir, through you, I would like to ask the Honorable Home Minister. So, in the answer given, he has listed various measures which have been taken by the Delhi Police in the National Capital Territory of Delhi. So, unfortunately, time to time our proud capital is put to great shame, and most of the time it is because of the crimes that are taking place against women in Delhi. So he has listed various measures which are being undertaken. But sir, are these being followed in letter and spirit? It's a list of very pious intentions. But are these being followed? Sir, how many CCTV cameras have they put up, have they installed? Sir, how many are working? Sir, how many training camps have taken place for girls and women? How many gender sensitization programs for police personnel have taken place? Sir, it sounds very good, but has it also resulted in any decrease in the crimes against women in our capital? And sir, when he
What's
talks
the question?
about... Sir, these are my questions. Sir, I'm sure our Honorable Home Minister has understood.
Which question?
Sir, gender sensitization programs for police personnel. Sir, are there any instructions to the, in addition to my other questions,
You can ask only one question.
Are there any instructions to the police personnel that when they are dealing with women, sir, there are various, sir, kindly hear me out, sir.
No, you are asking a supplementary question.
Yes, sir. Sir, whenever any demonstrations take place, any political activists demonstrate, are there any instructions to the police personnel as to how to deal with them, how to deal with the girls, with the ladies taking part in the political agitations?
Sir, actually, Honorable Member has made various queries about the actions being initiated by Delhi Police. For the gender sensitization, I can provide this specific information. This year, 2015, total programs held are 45 and total numbers of personnel trained 2,706. For the issue which Honorable Member has raised, recently the Home Secretary has taken a comprehensive review meeting which consists of the Ministry of Women and Child Development and the Department of Women and Child Development of Delhi Government, National Commission for Women and Delhi State Women Commission and Bureau of Police Research and Development. So we have initiated lots of steps which I cannot count. I'm sure the Honorable Member is aware of, but the fact remains that the numbers of cases registered with the rape charges is increasing, and it is very deep concern for the whole government. And the concern for the women is not only the priority of this government, it has to be priority of any government. And the steps being taken, I'm sure in the days to come, it will take effect. But only point I want to make here is the numbers of cases has dramatically risen in the year 2013. That is the time when this IPC section 166A was inserted, where the registration of the case, whenever a complaint is lodged by a woman related to rape or any other issues, is mandatory for the police officer to register the case. Otherwise, the penalty provision provided under section 166A is very, very harsh on the police officers. Thereby, you will see the substantial jump in the numbers of the rape cases, but we are not happy with showing the larger numbers of the cases being registered. but the question is how the issue is to be tackled, and I can assure the honorable member that we are taking all the steps very, very seriously and following the implementation of all the directions also.
श्रीमती कहकशां परवीन।
मैं आपके माध्यम से माननीय मंत्री जी से ये जानना चाहती हूँ कि आपने राष्ट्रीय राजधानी क्षेत्र के में संबंध में उपाय के 12 पॉइंट्स बताए हैं। उस 12 पॉइंट्स में सबसे पहला पॉइंट है कि प्रत्येक पुलिस स्टेशनों में महिला हेल्प डेस्क की स्थापना करना। तो आपने जो महिला हेल्प डेस्क की स्थापना की है, क्या आपने वहां पे कार्यरत पुलिस को किसी प्रकार की ट्रेनिंग दी है कि वो पीड़ित महिला जब आए तो उनके साथ किस तरह का सलूक किया जाए?
थैंक यू।
सर, ये जो हाईवेज और पुलिस स्टेशन में जो प्रावधान करने का जो बात माननीय सदस्य जी ने पूछा है, फिलहाल जो निर्भया फंड के तहत 3,000 करोड़ का जो प्रावधान है, इसको अलग अलग मंत्रालय उसको इस्तेमाल करने का प्रावधान रखा है। जो हमारे मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर्स के पास जो प्रावधान है, मैं उसका आपको बता सकता हूं। आपने जो हेल्पलाइन और जो आपने स्पेशल डेस्क जो बनाया है महिलाओं के लिए, उसके बारे में कहा है। दिल्ली में टोटल 161 जो टेरिटोरियल पुलिस स्टेशन है, उसमें 24/7 यानी कि 24 घंटे उसमें महिलाओं के लिए स्पेसिफिक अलग नंबर दिया गया है, जो 1091 के तहत तो है ही। उसके अलावा हर पुलिस स्टेशन में और उसको निगरानी करने के लिए महिला पुलिस अधिकारी को ही रखा गया है, और इसको हम लोग इंश्योर कर रहे हैं कि कहीं कोई गैप ना हो, ताकि महिलाओं का जो कंप्लेन है उसका तो करना ही है, लेकिन प्रिवेंटिव मेजर्स के लिए भी जितना भी कदम उठाना चाहिए उसमें भी हम लोग देख रहे हैं। और साथ साथ जितने भी जो आपका हाईवेज में गाड़ी चलते हैं, गाड़ी में जीपीएस सिस्टम लगाने का बात है।
मैं ये जानना चाह रही हूँ कि आप
प्लीज आप पूछ चुकी है अपना सवाल।
मैं ये जानना चाह रही हूँ कि जब कोई पीड़ित महिला जाती है,
आपने सबने
आपका सवाल नहीं है।
उन्होंने 2 बार पूछा है,
उन्होंने एक बात कही जी, प्लीज।
महिला
एक ही बात पूछी जाए। मैंने ये पूछा कि जब कोई पीड़ित महिला अगर किसी थाने पे जाती है अपने केस को दर्ज कराने के लिए, तो उसके साथ किस तरह का बिहेव करना है, ये मैं जानना चाह रही थी। आप ट्रेनिंग दिया गया है कि नहीं?
ऑल राइट
अध्यक्ष जी, वही तो मैंने कहा कि महिला का जो समस्या है उसको सबसे ज्यादा अच्छा से समझेंगे तो महिला अधिकारी ही समझेंगे।
तो नहीं, ट्रेनिंग पे खर्च किया गया है कि नहीं दिया गया है?
वही सर, उसको
थैंक यू।
और कितनी नहीं, बहुत सारी ऐसी बातें होती हैं जो कि वहाँ पे जो पुलिस रहते हैं, महिलाएं उनसे नहीं कह सकती, महिला ही को कहेगी, लेकिन महिला को ट्रेनिंग दी गई है या नहीं दी गई है, मैं इसकी जानकारी लेना चाहती हूँ।
ट्रेनिंग के बारे में मैं अभी जानकारी दिया है कि महिलाओं को ट्रेनिंग सेल्फ डिफेंस के लिए जो हमारे जो
बैठ जाइए। वन मिनट प्लीज, ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर।
सभापति महोदय, मैं ये जानकारी देना चाहता हूँ, ये संबंधित सम्मानित सदस्य ने जो प्रश्न पूछा है कि हर पुलिस स्टेशन पर एक महिला ये हेल्प डेस्क जो है बने हुए हैं, और वहाँ पर महिलाएं ही तैनात हैं, और जिनको ठीक तरीके से प्रशिक्षण दिया गया है कि यदि महिलाएं कोई शिकायत लेकर दी आती हैं तो उसे कैसे रजिस्टर करना, क्या करना, उनके साथ कैसा व्यवहार करना, यह प्रॉपर ट्रेनिंग उनको दी गई है। और मैं समझता हूं कि कोई भी महिला की मुसीबतों को, उसकी समस्याओं को जितनी संवेदनशीलता के साथ समझ सकती है, उससे बेहतर और कोई दूसरा नहीं समझ सकता है। इसीलिए इस प्रकार की मुकम्मल व्यवस्था इस दिल्ली के हर पुलिस स्टेशन पर पहले से ही की गई है।
थैंक यू। श्रीमती झरना दास वैद्य।
इस क्वेश्चन के ऊपर ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर बहुत सारी आंसर किया है। मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है, 20 ज़्यादा तो बाहर से आने वाली महिला के ऊपर ज़्यादा तो ये घटना हो रहा है कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट का कि बाहर से नगर 28 फरवरी को कोरुलबाग एक होटल में 35 इयर्स महिला के ऊपर बलात्कार हुआ है। तो मैं ये पूछना चाहती हूँ, वो जो होटल है बाहर से जो औरतें आते हैं, महिला आते हैं, वो होटल में ज्यादातर ठहरते हैं। वो होटल मालिकों को क्या हमारा जो पुलिस है, हमारा जो आरक्षण दफ्तर है, होटल मालिकों को सीसीटीवी लगाने के लिए कंपलसरी किया है? नहीं तो ये घटना कैसे सामने आएगी? अपराधी को सजा होने से वर्मा कमीशन का रिपोर्ट भी बताया, आपने सब कुछ बताया, लेकिन इस घटना में कितना 21 को सजा हुआ है ये मैं जानना चाहती हूँ।
स्पेसिफिक जो माननीय सदस्य ने पूछा है उसका तो मैं जानकारी आपको लेके दे दूंगा, क्योंकि आपने पर्टिकुलर एक केस का और एक तारीख का लेकर के एक जगह का बताया। वहाँ जो सीसीटीवी आपने कहा है कि दिल्ली पुलिस ने सिर्फ जो दुकान या होटल का अंदर ही नहीं, अंदर में तो सीसीटीवी वो अपने भी लगाते हैं, उनको प्रोत्साहन किया गया है, उनको बताया गया कि आपका होटल के बाहर भी, अंदर भी बाहर भी आपका सीसीटीवी लगाया जाए, उसको प्रॉपर मॉनिटर भी करे कि वो फंक्शनिंग है, ताकि अगर कोई घटना हो भी जाता है तो उसको बिल्कुल हम उसको कदम उठा सके, उसको पनिशमेंट कर सके। इसके लिए दिल्ली पुलिस ने स्पेशल कार्यक्रम चलाया हुआ है।
थैंक यू। क्वेश्चन 215 प्लीज। No, look, a discussion, Renuka ji, a discussion is a separate matter. No, I agree with you, but we can have a discussion on this, that's a separate matter. Please give notice, I am sure the Honorable Minister will be very happy to participate. Thank you very much. Question 215. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I cannot go beyond the established procedure of 3 supplementaries. Jaya ji, please. All right. We will find time for it. We will find time for it. No. Have a discussion and participate in it. Please. No more supplementaries on this. We have to go to the next question. Next question, please. No, there is no such thing. It will be accepted. I have no difficulty in that. We just have to schedule it. That's all. I'm sure the Honorable Minister has no difficulty in accepting a discussion. He has accepted it.
आप टेबल से पूछिए।
इस पर अगर माननीय सदस्य कोई नोटिस देते हैं तो उसके बाद माननीय मंत्री से समय उनका सुविधा के अनुसार हम डिस्कशन
That settles the matter. Please.
सर आप पूछ लीजिए। मैंने
मान लिया उन्होंने। मान लिया।
अरे कब करेंगे अभी? कब करेंगे?
से बात करके उसको क्या एक बार आप
22-23 हम रह जाते हैं, आप रुक जाइए, डिस्कशन कर लेते हैं।
अनुमति से हम लोग
ये आपको जरूरी नहीं लगता है डिस्कशन करना?
इसलिए हम लोग तैयार है, जब भी
कब करेंगे आप?
तैयार है।
नहीं, जी, please. Your point has been registered. The Honorable Minister has already
not
indicated.
registered strongly enough, sir.
I think when you speak, it is always registered. Question 215. Yes, please.
Respected Chairman, sir, there is a problem with the data provided by the Minister. I fear it does not reflect the real situation, which is very grim. The negative growth in our exports, mostly in labor-intensive areas, sectors like textiles and handicrafts, which are giving the most of the job opportunities in the country, particularly in the states of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, and all these exports in these areas translates, decline of exports translates into the loss of jobs and incomes for the poor artisans and other working class people. Sir, I would like to ask the Minister, through you, sir, what is the government going to reverse this trend? How is it going to address the issue? A specific plan of action, if there is any, to improve our exports competitiveness and the volume of the exports, particularly providing jobs to rural artisans and improving the rural skill development.
Thank you.
And to improve by improving the employment in rural areas, particularly of AP and Telangana, sir.
Thank you.
May I submit first of all that the decline in exports is not just happening in labor-intensive areas. We have stated in the answer that, for the benefit of the House, I just would very quickly read it out. Petroleum products, gems and jewelry, cotton, yarn, fabrics, made-ups and handloom products, electronic goods, plastic and linoleum, spices, fruits, vegetables, handicrafts, excluding handmade carpets, oil, meals, other cereals, iron ore, tobacco, tea, iron ore, jute manufacturing, including floor covering, all of them have equally suffered. But I'm happy to state that at least in the current year, as of ending February, the 10 months, there is a marginal increase in our exports and to the extent of 0.88%. And therefore, the decline is stopping. It is definitely no longer as grave as it was. There's actually an increase in exports. The government, of course, is taking a lot of steps towards incentivizing and helping, manufacturing sector and also exports. I can go into the detail, but then if that's the supplementary.
Thank you, Shri Tirichu Siva. Second question. Yes, please.
Sir, my second supplement is, sir, is about the declining agricultural exports, particularly from the states of Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, sir. Sir, the state of Andhra Pradesh in the year 2014-15 has faced with the severe Hudhud cyclone, sir, and also some parts of the Telangana and Andhra, particularly of Rayalaseema, they are facing the severe drought, sir. In these circumstances, is there any chance of going for export-oriented agricultural intensive programs, sir?
Thank you.
And also, sir, in this regard, no, sir, please. This is.
You have asked the question.
No, sir. No, it's a continuation, sir. Sir, my supplementary is: how are you going to give a boost, a thrust to exports from agriculture and elite sectors like fisheries from Andhra Pradesh and other states? Whether the government plans to set up an exclusive export mechanism for agri exports since APEDA is not able to deliver, and do you have any plans to discourage or even stop importing palm oil and other edible oils and alternatively encourage these crops in the country, particularly where the atmosphere is congenial in states like AP and Telangana, and any plans to improve floriculture in the states?
Please answer one of the various questions asked.
Sir, I understand the concern of the honourable member about the decline or the difficult circumstances in which agricultural produce exports are suffering, particularly in Andhra Pradesh. But I would like to say that the global demand itself for agricultural produces sort of muted, and value of exports of agricultural commodities accounting for about 9.6% of Indian exports has declined. But then the way in which we can incentivize exports has got to be from the point of view of the produce and post-harvest, which concerns our ministry, the commerce. Post-harvest is what I would be focusing my attention on in order to provide infrastructure which is common for storage and for value addition. And it is in those and through those steps that we would like to help agricultural produce exports.
Thank you, Shri Tiruchi Siva.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, sir. Sir, as the Minister rightly said, though there is a marginal increase in the exports of 0.88%, it is not to the desired extent. Overall, there is a decline in Indian exports. And the reasons stated are, there's a fall in global demand due to slowing down of the world trade and the appreciation of the rupee against the euro, sir. Sir, these two reasons, the exporters are cannot be responsible, and there is nothing to be addressed from their side. So I would like to know from the Minister, what are the steps taken by the government to address these issues and to increase the Indian exports?
Thank you.
So I fully appreciate the point, and 0.88% marginal increase alone cannot help to boost export, but I only indicated that to show that the downward trend is halted and now we are looking at upward growth. There are several measures that the government has taken up. There are, I can readily spell out about 7 specific steps that we've taken which would go in the way of improving export. First of all, several budgetary measures have been announced. I can always provide the members about the detailed specific because there are 10 to 12 of them which will help. We also feel that the monetary policy stance of the RBI, particularly when you're talking about the repo rate reduction, which the RBI has done now twice over, that will also help in availability of credit for those who want to take credit. On ease of doing business, the government has really started doing a lot of intensive work. The electronic data exchange for promoting acceptance of electronic in place of physical documents itself is helping the exporters. I would like to say the number of documents required for export-import has been reduced to just 3. Time taken to process export and import is also reduced. Those are specific measures that we've taken up. Then the EDI initiatives to boost export are also something which I can give a lot more details on. Even more important, sir, this I would like to elaborate a bit more, that we have introduced initiatives that are clearly going to help exports. Since trade happens through 12 major ports, 187 minor ports, and many private notified ports too, there are 155 functioning and 89 under development inland container depots, all of which are now getting seamlessly connected through the electronic data information sharing, and there are 138 land custom stations through which export is being helped. And these are measures which I am specifically attending to by opening more of these land custom stations. That will definitely give a lot more ease in taking up export-related activities. One other point which I'll definitely draw the attention of the honourable member, because he's talking about how exports can be better serviced. Efficiency of custom clearance has been a major issue. And the Commerce Ministry is in interaction and engagement with the customs people to see how best 24/7 clearances can be given at various ports of call, so that burden on the exporters is reduced, and that has been very well received. Enhancing investments and also for trade, we are in engagement with very many governments. I would just like to say 1 or 2 without taking much of the time of the House. WTO meetings have been held since July. International pharmaceutical R&D groups have been engaging with that for manufacturing of export conferences. 7th India-Oman Joint Commission meeting has been held. I can give more details, and also the announcement as regard Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar and Vietnam, with whom a lot of our agricultural producers are also being traded. So the government is taking a lot of specific steps in order that manufacturing and exports improve.
Thank you. Shri Sharad Yadav, you probably have a minute.
इसलिए मैं कहना मैडम सीतारामन जी से आपके माध्यम से मैं कहना चाहता हूं कि हमारा व्यापार घाटा बढ़ गया है और डालडा जैसी इंपोर्ट जो हुआ है वो 8.66 लाख टन हुआ है, यानी 50% से ज्यादा यहाँ डालडा हो रहा। और जो हमारा इंपोर्ट है वो इतना घटा रहा, आपने बताया कि दशमलव में जा रहा है, तो दशमलव तो चींटी की चाल है। उसे खरगोश की चाल कैसे बने इसकी कोई योजना बनाइए, और व्यापार घाटा इस साल बढ़ गया है।
Thank you. Question are over. Statement by Minister correcting answer to question. Shri Pradhan.
Sir, with your permission, I rise to lay a statement in the House correcting the reply given on 25th February 15 to unstart question number 281 raised by honorable members Shri Manshukh Lal Mandaviya ji regarding recommendations submitted by PNGRB on the marketing margin.
Thank you. The chair has been informed by the Honorable Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs that since the House is sitting till 9 p.m. today, arrangements for dinner for honorable members will be made. House is adjourned till 2 p.m.